2025 has been a pretty banger year for Ninja Gaiden fans, both old and new. Hell, they've even been calling it the Year of the Ninja. And by they, I mean Koei Tecmo and no one else. Still though, we started this year with the surprise release of a pretty great remaster, what a lot of fans consider to be the best game in the long-running franchise with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I played it and reviewed it here on this very channel, and while not perfect, it definitely rekindled a love for this series that I forgot I even had. And that then led to me wasting so much time playing my personal favorite game in the series, Razor's Edge. On the very same day they released that game, they announced that the end of the year would see the franchise make a proper return with the next mainline entry, Ninja Gaiden 4. A game set to be brought to life through a team up between two of the best devs in the action game genre, the OGs, Team Ninja, and Platinum Games. If that combo doesn't get you excited, then I just don't know what will. Smack dab in the middle of those two big releases comes yet another Ninja Gaiden game, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which unlike the previous two mentioned isn't a third-person hack-and-slash action game, but rather a throwback to the series' roots. Forget the Xbox, we're taking Ninja Gaiden back to its 8-bit origins on the NES. I actually think this was a really cool move by Koei Tecmo to continue the series as it currently exists, that being a brutal 3D fan service filled bloodfest, while simultaneously releasing a retro pixel art action platformer that invokes the vibe and style of the original NES trilogy. There's no reason the series can't evolve in two directions at once, or dubvolve, as I'm choosing to call it until I can think of something better. On one hand, the series can continue the character arc it started in 2004 with Ninja Gaiden 4, and on the other, it can embrace its 2D origins with a modern twist thanks to Ragebound. Now, this is something I'd like to see other franchises embrace, especially the ones that have such an extensive history. Ninja Gaiden has been around a long time, so getting a game that is this much of a throwback is very cool to see, or at least on the surface. After all, the game could be awful. I mean, maybe we stopped making games like this in the first place for a reason. Although they never really went away, did they? Take Blasphemous, for example, an excellent Metroidvania game with some slick pixel art that was released just a few years ago. Looks pretty cool, right? Well, this game is actually what got the Ragebound devs the Ninja Gaiden gig. Just wanted to squeeze this little fun fact into the vid, so hey, there you go. French developers slash publishers Dotemu went to Koei Tecmo with the idea of bringing Ninja Gaiden back to the second dimension, and when the time came to pick a dev team to bring the project to life, they went with the Game Kitchen, a Spanish team of devs. They were so impressed by the Game Kitchen's work on Blasphemous that they entrusted them to do the legacy of Ninja Gaiden justice. So the question now is, were they successful? Did they cook up a video game legacy sequel worthy of chopping through scores of faceless generic bad guys with a sick-ass katana? Does Ragebound recapture the pure old school cool of the original NES Ninja Gaiden trilogy? Well, the truth is I'm the wrong person to ask, seeing as I was -6 years old when that trilogy wrapped up, and I haven't played a single second of those games. I am what could be considered a modern fan of the series. My first Ninja Gaiden game was probably the Sigma version on PlayStation 3. Regardless, I have a ton of respect for old school video games, especially the ones that continue to influence the medium to this very day. That being said, I am also self-aware enough to recognize that I also don't have the patience for them. Plus, the old Ninja Gaiden games are famous for their difficulty almost as much as the modern ones, so I'm probably gonna sit that one out. Just putting that out there so you know exactly what kind of perspective I bring to this review. Oh yeah, this is a review of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, by the way, in case that wasn't already obvious. I should probably get on with the actual review part of this review, so let's get started by reviewing the gameplay of this video game. Anyway, in the vein of pretty much every game from the 80s/early 90s, the old school Ninja Gaiden games were side-scrolling platformers, but instead of smashing in turtle skulls by jumping on their heads, you instead wielded a dope-ass sword. And somehow that seems more humane. Ragebound brings back the sword-slashing platforming, but said sword is in the hands of a new playable character, Kenji. Don't fret though, Ryu is still around. He just has to leave at the start of the game to go do a Ninja Gaiden 1988 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, so he's got a lot going on. Kenji is a protege of Ryu's and a budding Hayabusa ninja. With Ryu off in America, it's up to Kenji to protect Hayabusa Village from a sudden surge of demons and figure out what is causing all this chaos. Kenji may lack experience, but he is not lacking in skill. Naturally, he has a sword, which can take out most enemies with a single strike, and can deflect enemy projectiles with proper timing. He can also do something called a guillotine boost that allows him to strike his enemies in the air while doing a little flip, not only damaging the bad guy, but allowing him to launch himself upward, which can help you cross wide gaps or reach otherwise inaccessible areas. And he can dodge roll, and who doesn't love a good dodge roll? Further into the game, the devs throw in a neat twist to the pretty standard ninja gameplay. Thanks to some tomfoolery and a magic knife, Kenji gets possessed by a member of the Black Spider Clan, the Hayabusa clan's evil rivals. In order to survive and stop the Demon's Lord's return, plus they are literally stuck together, the two must team up. This gives you other new character, Gomori's, Black Spider skill set to use along with Kenji's. Her little ghosty hanging around means you can throw projectiles of your own and utilize very various long-range black spider weapons, with the catch being you need ki to use them. This essentially doubles your skill set and contributes massively to keeping things interesting throughout the whole runtime. The other big gameplay mechanic that feels the most unique and original to Ragebound, whether it is or not, is the hypercharge mechanic. Killing specific highlighted enemies can massively charge up your next attack. However, the effect is single use and timed, meaning once you get a hypercharge, you only have a few seconds to use it. If an enemy is highlighted blue, you only get the hypercharge by using Kenji's sword attack, and if it's pink, you have to use one of Komori's projectiles. With it, you can destroy large obstacles and one-shot all enemies aside from bosses. Using these various skills, you must run your way through fast-paced levels, dealing out death whilst trying to survive the swarm of enemies thrown your way, and in my case, avoiding very easily avoidable pits. Instead of attempting to incorporate some kind of combo system like the 3D games, the devs instead decided to focus on maintaining momentum during gameplay as a way to achieve the same kind of kinetic energy those games offer. For the most part, I think the devs absolutely nail that aspect. This game always feels quick-paced and is extremely rewarding to tear through your enemies as swiftly and efficiently as possible. The game can throw all kind of curveballs your way, especially in regards to hypercharges, so you have to be quick with your reactions to stay alive. Each level has specific bonus objectives to strive for, secret areas to discover, and collectibles to find. And on top of all that, you are graded for your performance at the end of every level. All this combined gives the game a massive amount of replayability, and the gameplay is addictive enough that you'll want to return again and again, or at least I did. Now, the Ninja Gaiden series is famous for its high difficulty, and while Ragebound is no exception, there are options out there for people who love a good action game but struggle with the franchise's unforgiving nature. I found the base game to be quite challenging in a mostly fun way, especially the boss fights. I am by no means what you would call quote-unquote good at games. I consider myself an average to below average skilled gamer, and I definitely struggled occasionally throughout this game. Fortunately, it never felt completely daunting or overwhelming. I think for the most part it strikes the right balance between feeling challenging without becoming frustrating. However, if it is still too much, then you can use some accessibility options to give you a leg up. Instead of having difficulty levels, besides the unlockable hard mode, which I thought was kind of wild since the game already seemed to be on hard mode for the first time around, you can change certain aspects of the game to make it easier. Like you can change the percentage of damage taken from enemies, and you can slow down how fast the game plays, make it easier to time jumps and attacks and stuff. Best part of all of this is that it doesn't affect your end of level rankings or progress unlocking trophies. It eases up the difficulty, but without locking you out of content. It's an interesting decision, but one I think is pretty cool. It allows for more people to experience the game by giving them the option to tailor the challenge to their skill level. I'm sure not everyone will appreciate it like I do, but it's all completely optional, so if you want a pure, unfiltered, brutal experience, then just don't touch those settings. Crazy idea, right? Alright, so I'm not going to touch on the story too much because I just don't really have a lot to say about it. And not in a bad way either. It was fine. A fairly straightforward and simple plot that took its characters through the various set pieces for you to do a bunch of murders. I like the designs and personality of the characters enough, but overall there isn't really anything that stood out to me. To be honest, the thing I found most interesting about the story was the fact that Ragebound is actually a sidequel and takes place concurrently with the original 1988 game story. Slight spoiler warning, but Ragebound literally opens with Ryu's father heading to the infamous duel that kills him, prompting the events of that first game. It's nothing too crazy, but I love a good continuity tie-in, and this delivers just that. It's nothing too crazy, but I love a good continuity tie-in, and this delivers just that. In general, the story isn't bad or great, it just kind of is, and sometimes that's all you need. Now, since I didn't play the originals, I can't really tell you if this new game lives up to the legacy they left behind. I can, however, say that I had a lot of fun playing this game. Playing it was a nice reminder that just because 2D games have one less dimension than 3D ones, doesn't mean they can't still be complex and interesting in their own right. I think the Game Kitchen did a fantastic job crafting an experience that brings together retro and modern in an extremely satisfying way. It seems to adhere to what the franchise is known for, while also spicing things up with its own unique mechanics. Plus, the game is nice and cheap at just over $20, and that's always nice. Given the amount of inherent replayability and potential for special homebrew challenges, I feel like it is well worth what I paid for it. So hey, take that how you will. If anyone watching this has played the original NES trilogy of Ninja Gaiden, then I would love to know how this compares, so let me know down in the comments. And even if you haven't played the original NES trilogy, comment down below anyway. We love to hear all kinds of opinions from all kinds of people except assholes. Y'all can keep that to yourselves. Also, leave a little like if you enjoyed this little review. It does wonders to help out our little channel. Plus, you can subscribe if you're interested in seeing more from us. I will definitely do a video on Ninja Gaiden 4 when it launches, so stick around for that. As always, thanks for watching. I've been Tin from Tin Max, and I will see you in whatever we do next.